Welcome to Warrior Class, where the teachers whoop ass and you will too if you pass. This is Balogun OJ Tade. Omi Nikki's trying to get in, having some uh, technical difficulties, but we hope she'll be joining us in a moment. Um, I'm at home, as you can probably tell. And Omi Nikki she's trying to get in, I believe, from a vehicle. So we're going to get started in a second. I think this is her trying to get in now. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah. Peace.
Peace, Baba.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. How are you?
Pretty good.
Beautiful.
Um,
Family, how y'all doing?
Staying at home because, what you all probably don't know out there, but I was supposed to go out of town to provide security for one of the families in Buffalo for the funeral. Um, but things happened, so we weren't able to go from here. But our comrade Kalanji set up some things with people who are locally. But we were supposed to go, but things happened where we weren't able to travel. But we appreciate everybody that donated to us going, and we are going to make some other things happen with the donations for the people in Buffalo that I will be speaking about probably this week. Um, so I didn't set up travel plans to go to our studio where we shoot Warrior Class. So here I am here, and there's only Nikki in the vehicle, but we're gonna make it happen.
Yes.
And then Belay had some, family troubles that I'll let him speak on when he gets back if he so chooses to. But there's been a lot going on with him. His family, I'll just say, eat well, live as good as possible. Because we need everybody here. All right. So we're going to get into some news. You all know about the shootings that's been going on in Buffalo. 10 were killed. Now we're finding out in Texas, 21 were killed. 21, I believe it's 21 children. Well, it's 19 children and 2 adults, I believe it is.
Those are the numbers I heard also.
Yeah, so, and I believe one of those adults is the actual shooter. So this episode, because there's been so much going on, we're going to get into the news on that, but so much going on, this episode is Our Blood No More. How to avoid shooters. In another episode, we'll probably probably deal with how to actually handle a mass shooter if you can't escape or hide. But there's a lot in this episode because we're going to get to how to safeguard yourself. So we won't have time to deal with that. And really to deal with a mass shooter and you don't have a choice, that's the last thing you want to try to do. But if you have to, you have to. Okay. And you see, you can't rely on law enforcement. So, Ominique, do you have any insight into the shootings that have happened, either Buffalo or the one in Texas? I can never get the name of that doggone city in Texas right.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't really been watching the reports on that one, so I don't have the enunciation either. I've seen it written a few times, but I guess my main insight into it is, why it's happening. I think that, I believe that our audience on Warrior Class is more politically astute, so they do understand, what is really behind these shootings. But I think that, you know, what what most of our people need to understand is what white supremacy really is. Neely Fuller talked about, I think he said, let me see, if you do not understand racism, white supremacy, what it is, how exactly how it works. Excuse me, I wrote it down, but if you do not understand racism, white supremacy, what it is, and exactly how it works, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. And I've actually posted that a few times on social media, and there's lots of likes, but it's from people who I'm pretty sure don't really know what white supremacy is, and where it comes from and what the purpose of it is, and why, unfortunately, and I hate to be saying something like this, why we will more than likely continue to see these types of mass shootings, especially the kind in Buffalo and the kind in Texas that targeted our people specifically, and also some other non-white people specifically, because there is a very small faction of people on this planet that need to, basically, according to also Francis Cress Welsing, they need to survive genetically, and that places them in the position where they feel like they have to control everything. And when they start to feel like they're getting out of control, then and we're really getting to an end game point with them, because their birth rate is at 0 right now, and it has been for as far as I know, at least over a decade. The birth rate is at 0, which means that more people are dying than are being born. Then they find ways to try to take as many of us out as possible. That is their mission, that is their point. And I don't see it slowing down. I see a lot of course, gun control, all of this. That's what's being talked about now, which is what they talk about, after these kind of things happen. But Timothy McVeigh built a bomb from fertilizer and other things. Like, they're, if they for some reason don't have access to firearms, and I don't believe that they're going to cut off their access to firearms, but if that ever happens, they will find some other way to try to take as many people as possible. That is what white supremacy is.
Well,
So
I would say that's what white supremacy is for the layman. How would I put it? The low level white supremacists. Your dudes with the buzz cuts, maybe just got out the army, little nutty, but
those are the ones doing the shootings.
Yes, but they're tools of the capitalists and those who are in power, because those in power, they got other ways to kill us massively. Okay,
absolutely.
I think the whole thing with this is gun control, because I'm seeing a lot of our people now got to control the guns. We got to. A few years ago, they've been trying this, but when Obama was still in office, I did a post correcting people about AR. AR does not mean assault rifle. AR means Armalite rifle 15. It's not assault rifle 15. I said, these are not assault rifles. That's what the news is using to make it sound worse. To be assaulted is terrible. So they're using assault rifle. It is a semi-automatic rifle. And I made the distinction in what the news is doing. And a person who I thought was a friend of mine cursing me out and all that, so I blocked him, and of course, kicked him out of some of the groups that I moderated. Because if you're gonna curse me out, you need to be in our group. Kicked him out and stuff like that. Haven't talked to him since. Because they have appealed to the people's emotions, got people acting emotionally. You've heard me say many times, we're romantic people. Okay, we're romantic people, and so you appeal to our emotions. We have this strong emotional response without looking and thinking about why. We don't ask why and what if. I'm going to deal with that when I get to my part of talking about the whole thing. But they want to control guns. If they take the guns from the hands of people, now some states don't give a damn, so they can, they can easily fall into that. We have tools here in Georgia and other places. Okay, if you take the guns from the people, they have no way of defending themselves against those with guns. Well, you got ways, but not ways to defend yourself against those who maintain the gun. The government. You got people, British folks talking about we had all these mass shootings, and the key was we got rid of guns for everybody, even the police. And number one, your regular bodies don't have guns. The regular police, uniformed cops in England, the special units who will come and hit your ass, they do have guns. Criminals are going to have guns, period. So enacting these gun laws doesn't do shit to lower violence. It hasn't lowered the violence, and even the places where in states where the gun laws are very restrictive, it hasn't lowered violence. Look at Chicago, the gun law in Illinois. The gun laws in Illinois, and specifically Chicago, are extremely restrictive. It has not stopped violent crime, specifically gun crime. So these gun laws and banning guns and all that does not stop murder by guns. And if you take the gun from the folks who aren't committing crime and doing so, now they can be easily victimized. The major victim that they'll be victimized by are those who are the enforcers of the state. So yeah, sure, you got these nutty shooters out here. Certainly, most of them are white supremacists. They use the guy with a Spanish name, and we got to get out of that shit too. Just because you speak Spanish doesn't mean you're not black, you're not white, or whatever. He's Hispanic. He wasn't white. He's Hispanic. That was a white dude. My daughter keeps saying, "Man, that's an old white dude." I said, "That's because, dear, that is also a manipulation of the media to say they're Hispanic. Hispanic is not your race if you will use that. Hispanic means that you're a Spanish speaker. That means you could be whatever. If an Asian grew up in Puerto Rico speaking Spanish, they're a Hispanic. If you grew up in Portugal, you may not speak Spanish. You're what they call Latinx. Whether you're Chinese, black, white, or whatever. Let's get rid of that foolishness. These were acts of white supremacy. Let's not pretty it up because the dude had black, wavy hair. He was a white dude. He was a white dude. There was a complete failure of. Somebody said, "Hold on a second. What's y'all follow y'all?" Okay. Number one, and we should put those down. You can get me at African with a K martial art. You can get us at Warrior Con. Warrior Class BPM at Warrior Class BPM on Instagram. At African Martial Arts. That's on Instagram and Facebook. You can get me. You can if you type African martial Facebook/African martial arts. That's going to be me, Balogun Ojitade. You can reach me at Balogun Ojitade, I believe it is, or at Baba Balogun. I can't remember, on Instagram, or just type in Balogun Ojitade. I'll come up. So that's how you can reach me. I believe you can reach, because I think she's frozen. You can reach Ominiki. Type in at Nzuri, Nzuri. I forget the last parts of it. She'll tell you when she gets in, on Instagram. Or you can reach us all, me, Belay, and Ominiki at Warrior Class BPM on Instagram. Okay. Somebody asked they would love for us to do a show on working as a group. Defend yourself, and we'll be doing that as well. Somebody said, "Who is Baba Balogun?" That's me. Right. Somebody said the person you're watching. Somebody 3, 9, and 6. Yes, it's me. Somebody said, "Oh, my mistake." Peace and greetings, warrior instructors. Peace, Big Till. At Mason, what does Ankh and Ma'at mean? Is it comedic? Add it all to the show notes at the end. Yes, Comrade Kwame, we will. Appreciate this topic. Okay. And we're about to get into it, Big Till. Trying to add Nikki back. Add her back to the stream. She'll get in as soon as she's able to get to a spot where she's able to get better reception. So we know in the shootings in Buffalo, the shooter entered grocery store where people were. And this is another thing. They're hitting children. They're hitting older people. The youngest person at the grocery store, I believe, was 32 years old. So they went on a day where, your elders were shopping at the grocery store. These punks. They're not doing some great work on behalf of white folks or white supremacy. There's some punks attacking people less able to defend themselves. You really want to show how strong you are, how deserving you are to even continue to exist, punks. Go somewhere where there are Black men, 25 to 50, and try to put in that same work. Okay, I'm not going to put the address to our school here, African Martial Arts Institute, but you can find it. And you try to do the same thing, and you'll lose your life. Unless you come in an army. One person. See, these dudes are cowards. And they work, and you're hitting children, punks. But, and somebody said it's pronounced Uvalde. I believe that's it. In Uvalde, no cop went in to defend these children. They wouldn't allow people in. One father said he wanted to go in, defend the children, put his life on the line, defend those children. People say, it's a failure of law enforcement. Is it a failure, or were they doing their job? Because, these deaths of children especially, oh boy, they get us crying for gun control. They get us, I don't want to sound like a conservative. I'm not conservative. I'm not liberal. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not none of that crap. But I do recognize the work when I see it. Y'all be careful out here. Y'all be careful out there. Because there are people that will victimize us all, see us all die, to push forward whatever it is they want to push forward, to gain whatever power they can gain, to gain whatever money they can gain. Be careful out here, y'all. We're going to get into someone said, when I see the identities of the children, I wonder if they didn't go in because those are mostly Latinx children. Yeah, that too. Yeah, they don't give a damn about us. Somebody failure of function. That's what, right. Right. Exactly, Tay. Failure of function. Better get the USPI and start training. I suppose you mean the USPI self-defense manual? Yeah, please do. Please do. I actually wrote it to help the people, be able to defend themselves. We named this Our Blood No More. I actually wrote the book, Our Blood No More, how to deal with what I call white terrorism. And I never published it because during the time I wrote it, I watched somebody I know go to jail for Black identity extremism for much less than what I put in that book. Because in that book, I'm giving examples of white terrorism. I'm proving that it is white terrorism. And I'm giving you step-by-step ways of dealing with it, whatever white terrorism, whatever uniform they may wear. And I said to myself, and read between the lines, have you want to read between those lines. I said to myself, no, it's not time. It was just in my gut. If I bring this out, they're already watching me, I'm pretty sure, and watching me and anybody else that is in our group, particularly USPI. If I bring this out, I can endanger not just myself, my family, and others. I brought out a book, Surviving the Urban Apocalypse, Book 2. I asked my students, what book would you like me to, bring out next? And one of my students by King said, bring out Surviving the Urban Apocalypse Book 2, because what I did was I combined fiction and actual survival technique. So people would read it like it's fiction, but I'm actually giving them ways to survive, and much more. I've done that before, but much more in this will actually give you. So I start with a fictional thing, and then I give you tools on how to survive this, right? And I brought out the book, said during the time what would happen, a disease hit, this man-made disease called Darona, right? I thought I would get away with Darona, Darona. And they bagged that shit. They said, we'll bring it, you can bring it out on ebook, but it cannot be brought out. It cannot be bought out as a physical book. No, it can be bought as a physical book. It cannot be bought on ebook because more ebooks are sold, is easier to get. So I said, damn. So I fought that. Talk with people at Amazon Books, right? Amazon Kindle. And one of the people was so angry, we're not bringing the book out. I said, damn, I didn't know you own Amazon. I thought it was Bezos. And they just, we're not doing it. They cut it short. Really, I got really no say-so in the thing. I didn't get to speak my piece because they were pissed when I said that, right? And it just hit me recently. I said to my wife, you know what? I used to be like, F the folks, F what they did. Then it hit me. The person was probably so emotional because they probably had lost somebody to COVID. And so me using Dorona and saying it was man-made, blah, 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 which I don't necessarily say about the coronavirus, about COVID-19. But in this book, I had written this thing, right? And yeah, they flagged that. So they flagged that. Boy, they'd have really got me for it. They probably kicked me off of Amazon and my books if I brought out my Our Blood No More. So I haven't bought it out. Still contemplating it though, especially with so much going on. It's been 214. Let me add Ominiki to the stream. Sorry, Ominiki. It's been 214 mass shootings in the United States so far in 2022, and we aren't even halfway through the year yet. 214 mass shootings. Now, you hear that, or the mass shooting. What is it? It's mass shootings are ones in which 4 or more people are shot in the same place. That's a mass shooting. 4 or more people shot in the same place. 214 of them so far in the United States. I believe now it's like 215 with Uvalde. So that's a lot.
Right.
Been a lot of murders going on, mass shootings. So, we had to deal with this. You have anything to say before we get into how to handle it? Ominigi, anything you want to discuss?
Also, in addition to the stat that you just provided, more than 17,300 people have lost their lives due to gun violence this year. Like you said, and we're not even in June yet. So that definitely is a tremendous number of people. And let me see what else. You brought out there's 4 or more people in the same place. So, it's definitely setting the stage for, as you said, for more discussions on legal gun purchases being curbed.
Now, somebody just said 223 murders, so I got to look that up. Mass shootings.
Oh, wow.
Let me see, who's it? 233 I saw on another site. Wow.
Thank you. That's terrible.
Yeah. So we got to learn to look for the impending trouble. If we can see it ahead of time, and we can predict violence. So it makes it easier for us to get to safety. Okay. There are telltale signs of impending trouble when it comes to mass shootings. Okay. And those are called combat indicators. These include the demeanor and behavior of the people in your vicinity. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that you may find yourself close to someone who is able to initiate an act of terror. We call these acts of terror. These are terroristic acts, okay? Recognition could lead to prevention if you can recognize these telltale signs. The most important telltale behavioral sign that signs that diverge from the norm will be in body language. All of us, including terrorists, have conscious and subconscious body language. All of us. Right now, as I speak, I'm using body language. Ominique is using body language. Okay, you're using it. This is general traits of behavior can be observed. When a person sets out with an aggressive action in mind, their body chemistry changes their posture, whether they like it or not. And the more a person tries to hide their body language, the more, and the signals that they're giving off, the more they're going to show other signals. Okay, just know that. Often military trained people or people on a criminal mission will scan their surroundings, and they will choose an observational position in a room or on a street with their back against the wall. They will be checking their own six. Some scanning, looking around. There's no way the murderer in Uvalde or the murderer in Buffalo, they just walked, relaxed, walked in there and just start firing off. Their body language is going to speak. And if they try to hide what they're doing, other things are going to show. Observe behavior and be prepared for further irregularities or anomalies that will prompt you to act. If someone telling you something not right, it's probably not right. Okay. If someone is constantly checking and rechecking a part of their body by patting it or feeling it through their clothing, they may have something to hide. That's called tucking. If I have a gun on and I'm not very trained, not confident in my holster, I tuck. Make sure it's still there. Make sure it's in the right place. Tuck. No matter how quick, they'll do a quick tuck. They may tuck in the front if it's an appendix carry. They call that an appendix carry in the front. Right to the side of your groin area. They'll tuck. They'll tuck to the side. They may tuck behind them. Watch for that. Now, if they have a rifle, no need to tuck, right? It's normally out. Perhaps it's completely innocent, maybe, and they're just making sure they still have that winning Powerball lottery ticket in their pocket. But still keep your eyes open, okay? Well, maybe they've got something sinister to hide, drugs or concealed weapon. Again, consider the possibilities. Adapt and keep a sharp eye on this person. It could save lives. Not just your life, many lives. When a terrorist attacks, you'll be in a situation where your brain will be forced to process a great deal of information in microseconds. Microseconds. The process of evaluating all this information, sifting through it for what is relevant to survival, is known as dynamic risk assessment. I'm using some of these terms because you're going to start hearing this stuff in the news. You'll get confused as to what it is because the newscasters don't know either. They just know it sounds cool, or it sounds scary, or it sounds evocative.
Official.
And it sounds official. Right. So they'll use these things. Dynamic risk assessment is the continuous process of identifying hazards, assessing risk, taking action to eliminate or reduce risk, and monitoring and reviewing risk in the rapidly changing circumstances of an incident, also known as watching your ass. Or you'll hear watch your six. That's not just your back. Watching your six means watching your environment, okay? Because quickly, your six can change based on how you move and how somebody else moves. So your six, even you say, well, it's behind me. If I'm looking at Joe and Joe's moving this way, I got to keep my eye here. But as I turn to watch Joe, my six now goes that way. You understand? So you watch your environment because your six can change. You may have to quickly move. Okay. One obvious example of dynamic risk assessment is when you step off a sidewalk to cross the street. You look what? Both ways to check for oncoming vehicles before crossing the street. That's dynamic risk assessment. Okay, it's that simple. So don't get tripped up by the term. It's just watching your and others' safety. Okay, watching your six. You were probably taught to make that simple safety check when you were a child across the street. What about climbing a ladder? The height of the building, the forcefulness of the wind, and the availability of a safe place to lean your ladder are considered and assessed before you commit to climbing it, right? You don't just climb the ladder. You say, oh, shit, okay, the wind's coming in, it's moving at this speed. Now, if you just start saying, okay, I got to think about this and this and this, you do it all the time. When you're driving, you make dynamic risk assessments. You do it all the time. So it's no big deal. You're going to do it. You have to do it quickly and make decisions quickly. I used to take my daughters to the store and say, okay, you all can get whatever candy you want. I didn't care about the candy they got. I wanted to look at the speed they got. I said, we ain't got much time to do it. And I'd watch, and then I'd talk to them later about you got to make your decisions quicker. One of my daughters, Yetunde, was always just slowly making her decisions. And I said, okay, one day she's going to get an example why not to be so slow. You got to decide quickly and decisively. Not just quickly and decide wrong. You got to be decisive. I don't even say, okay, make a quick decision. It's not necessarily wrong. Okay. She's looking. We're in the store. And at this one store, we had never been in there before. It's near where my wife grew up here in Atlanta. And the dude, it's called the A&B. I'll tell you the name of the store. Because this is some crazy shit. She's looking, and dude's like, God damn it! The guy working in the store comes from behind the bulletproof glass. God damn, he doesn't know that I'm there with him. He knows my wife's there with him. I'm watching because I'm observing her. I didn't expect this to happen. God damn it, pick your goddamn candy, get the fuck out the store. My daughter at the time was about 6 or 7. I stepped to him. I said, who are you talking to like that? This little girl. I said, that's my daughter. But even if it wasn't, that's my daughter. I said, if it's a black child and you're talking to her like that, that's my daughter. Where is it your child? I said, I just told you it is, whether it is or not. Now all you gotta do is look at her. Yetunde looks just like my mama. I look very similar to my mama. You could have told, but it didn't matter. If I walked in there with one of y'all children, he would have got stepped to. I said, you're going to apologize to her. I'm going to beat the shit out you. Right here, I'm going to beat you to sleep. Well, I ain't apologizing to shit. I said, yeah, you. I stepped to him. He ran back in the thing and locked the door. I said, oh, y'all get up there, Tunde. I said, y'all put your stuff. You're not getting no candy here. I said, y'all go out. Y'all going out. So my wife's watching like, oh God, what is Ballin' gonna do? I got lighter fluid. They sell it. I said, well, I want to get this lighter fluid. Oops. Oh God, oops, I just spilled it up under there. Oops. Oh, let me go get a lighter. He like, hey, what? Bring your daughter back in there. Because he thought he gonna light me in fire up in there. And I was gonna light it on fire. I didn't want to burn him. I really didn't want to burn him. I want him to come out from behind there, and I was gonna wreck him. I brought my daughter back in. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. Bring the candy up. I'll take care of the candy. Y'all can have it for free. When he said he was sorry, I immediately, because that's what I wanted to happen, I calmed down, brought the candy up. We got it. Left out. They had the free candy. But I taught my daughter, you have to make decisions quickly because you have fools like that who could cause you trouble if you're not moving and thinking quickly. Yeah, so not instead of him being an old crazy store employee, manager, whatever he was, if he was a shooter and my daughter is slow to decide, oh boy, where do I go? What do I do? Oh no, he's shooting. Uh-oh, she would have been gone. So those little things I try to take care of young in life so they can learn to think quicker when it is most critical.
Yeah, that's a great lesson, Baba.
Okay. So
definitely.
And when I was younger, okay, because you got to make these risk assessments, right? When I was young, I didn't make a risk assessment. I went to my mother sent me to the store with money, bought candy. I didn't make the risk, so I bought her what she wanted, and then with the change, like $10 of change, I bought $10 worth of candy. Now back in those days, it was penny candy, so you know how much candy I got.
Candy for 6 months.
100 pieces of candy for $1. So I got 1,000 pieces of candy. I came with a shopping bag full of candy. It was heavy as hell. I didn't do the risk assessment. It wasn't going to happen to my ass. I spent my mama's money on some damn candy too. I didn't do the risk assessment. And so I bought the drive home, and I kind of was like, well, I'm probably going to get a whooping, but I'm going to have this candy. I didn't fully risk assess because I didn't get a whooping at all. I got worse. My mother said, you did what? Give me the bag of candy. I said, well, she'll be mad for a little while, and she'll give it back. So we're going to church the next day. I was about 9. I stopped going to church at 12, so I was about 9, 10. We're on our way to church. We would walk to church. It was a couple blocks from the house. She said, here. Because I'm like, she got my candy bag? She said, here's your candy. I said, oh, thanks, Ma. I'm happy. She said, when we get to the church, you're going to give every piece of that candy to the children in the church.
Wow.
And you keep one piece of candy for yourself. I'm going to beat your ass in front of everybody there, and I'm going to beg the rest of the mothers and the deacons to beat your ass too. I said, oh my God. Wow. So I had to give away every piece of candy. She said, I done got candy for all of you. That's my government name. I'm giving away the candy, and I'm crying as I'm giving up my candy. Oh, Mama, oh, what are you doing, Mama? And I'm giving the candy away. And all the children, oh, thank you. Thank you. They so happy. I'm looking like, you bastard. You know, in my mind. And I had to give up all that candy. That was the worst. Because I didn't do a risk assessment of what's going to happen to me if I did it. I just wanted that candy. I had this idea. I got all this money. You know, 10-year-old back then, especially. $10, boy. That's a lot of money. I'm going to buy this candy up. And Mama going to whoop me. She can't even whoop hard. And I'm still going to have my candy. That didn't work.
Yeah, that was terrible.
There we go. We have to learn to do risk assessments. Okay, there are countless factors to be considered. These factors vary from situation to situation and from threat to threat, but you will have time to consider your assessment and come to a decision about it. You got time. Time moves 24 billion miles per second. Well, your mind moves 24 billion miles per second. You got time to assess the situation. Okay. The process becomes dynamic or kinetic when events accelerate and unfold in seconds and microseconds. For instance, when your ladder becomes unstable, or when your mama says, I hope you didn't buy all that candy with my change, because it's all the money I got. Things have changed now. And yep, the candy scenario, like I said, that was me, okay? During an act of terror, the time factor of your assessment is critically compressed. You've been swept away on the current of a highly violent event, and it is all too easy to make the wrong move. However, it's still entirely possible to make sense out of the confusion. It's still possible to make some basic and rapid evaluations of your situation. Remember that acts of terror, such as mass shooting incidents, are essentially combat situations, checklist that you can use when you are engaged in rapidly evolving combat. We're about to give that to you. This checklist will enable you to slow things down in your mind and to rationally evaluate a situation so you can decide on the least risky and most likely successful course of action. The least risky and most likely successful course of action. That's what you want. Consider what's going on in your vicinity, whether that's a shopping mall, a major transport hub, like an airport or what have you, a city street, a restaurant, an office building, a nightclub, a grocery store, or whatever. How many shooters? These are things that you want to ask. Just a checklist. How many shooters, bombers, home invaders, thugs are there? Okay. Are you able to identify their locations? So how many? Are you able to identify their locations? Are any of your comrades around that can help you? Now, you can call the police if you want to rely on them. I wouldn't. A lot of times people call the police, as I said before, they get killed. Okay, so, and we see what happened in Uvalde. So, are any of your comrades around that can help you? If not, are there any others around that will help you? Unity is key. A shooter is shooting in the store and you're there. You know how to escape. And it doesn't come into your mind to help somebody. What you know this stuff for? Now, if all you can get out, if all you can, I'm not tripping now, if all you can get out is your family, that's what you got to do. But if you got time to help somebody else, help them get out. Having gone through this list, so it's a list, a short list. How many shooters? Are you able to identify their locations? Are any of your comrades around that can help you? If not, are there any others around that can or will help you? Having gone through this list, you can then pose yourself a couple of important questions going further. Who? Why? These are important because the answers have a huge bearing on your survival. You then ask the last vital question. When I say who, who's the shooter? If you can figure that out. Who's around you? Why did they pick this place? Okay. Why are they carrying that tool? That firearm, what happened? These are important because the answers have a huge bearing on your survival. You then ask the last vital question in relation to what you deduced and processed so far, and it's the key question. What if? What if the shooters set a trap at escape exits? That's the main thing. Pay great attention to this possibility so your escape attempt is more cautious, more tactical. Don't just be running to a place because you're panicking. Could be more than one shooter. So even when you get to, I ran out the back door. Better watch. Stay low. Move quick. Because it could be another shooter. What if escape is impossible? That's another what if. If escape is not possible, then find safe cover. Next, try to organize like-minded individuals to hamper the activities of the assailant and possibly attack them. Okay? Attack them. Yeah. If you don't have another choice. Be fully aware that these shooters also make their own risk assessments, though. Now, however, in their twisted and wicked minds, it is a negative assessment because in most cases, they've already factored their own deaths into the equation. In most of these situations, they've already factored their own deaths into the equation. We know in Uvalde, he took his life. In Buffalo, he threatened to. People say that punk won't kill himself. Usually they actually do. They're so punkified. They don't want to stand trial. They don't want people who look like the folks they murdered in jail or prison to get to that ass. Punks. So they kill themselves. They've already factored that in. The risks they are concerned with are the risks associated with not being able to kill a sufficient number of people. That's their biggest risk assessment. Damn, I got to go where I can kill the greatest number of people. That's why they go for the helpless. They can kill larger numbers. That's why the fool went to the mosque. They can kill larger numbers. People praying, you go and start killing because they're not expecting that. Okay. They will assess whether they can stay alive long enough to expend all their ammunition on their victims. The risk they most fear is the risk of being thwarted in their aim of maximum carnage. That's their greatest fear. And anybody watching this who plans to be a massive shooter, yes, I'm revealing it. You can put my name in your manifesto. Just don't let me see you where I frequent. Bastards. Knowing this will help you when you make a critical assessment of your situation. Knowing this will help you when you make a critical assessment of your situation. It will help you in deciding what if, another what if, you attempt to hamper a terrorist rampage. So what if is important. What if I attempt to hamper his rampage and I have 10 other people with me? What if I attempt to hamper his rampage and it's just me? What if I attempt to hamper his rampage and I got my 6-month-old with me? Probably not the best move. So what if is key. I always ask what if. Another term that you've been hearing, I'm sure, because they've been using this, and white supremacists love this term. Target-rich environments. Target-rich environments. A target-rich environment are places of mass gatherings, shopping malls, grocery stores, movie theaters, a mosque, a church, a transport hub like an airport, an office building or office, dentist office, doctor's office, business office, right? It can massage parlor. A few years ago, white boy comes in, kills people at the massage parlor, kills a lot of Asians who work at the massage parlor. Right here in Atlanta Metro. It can be any place where people are drawn together in large numbers. These are the target of choice for white supremacist groups, and they call such places target-rich environments. This comes straight from the military. Talking about a target-rich environment. A lot of people there that you can damage. Target-rich environment for the military, you would like for it to mean where a lot of enemies or key targets are, and you can hit them, but it can also mean a lot of civilians are there. It's a target-rich environment. I can hit that environment and cause shock and all. Yeah. If you anticipate a terror event brewing, move towards safety. Move towards safety. Most active shooting events last 15 minutes at most, around 8 minutes on average. Most. Around 15 minutes at most and around 8 minutes on average. But the chaos lasts much longer, with masses of wounded people in need of urgent medical help and probably many dead bodies in the aftermath. Expect to look after yourself without any practical assistance from the authorities for a relatively long time. Do not count on any medical help or the police. You will have to fend for yourself. Like I told you, I wrote this years ago, this information, because I learned it many years ago. But you don't rely on the police in this situation. Shit, a lot of them talking about, I'm going home. I ain't going in there. I can get shot. Or it's just niggas. It's just Hispanics, Spics, Wops, or whatever you want to say. Wops is Italian. Spics. It's just wetbacks. You know, the terms that these racist bastards use. Your main priority is to avoid contact with the killers. Your main priority is to avoid contact with the killers. Find a route out of the location and away from danger. Your secondary priority is to bring some order to the chaos, to rally at least a few of those who are fleeing the scene into a makeshift self-defense unit.
Mm-hmm.
Using your observational skills, familiarize yourself with the places of mass gathering you regularly use. Take my advice and have a fresh look at your favorite shopping malls, transport hubs, you use to commute, the hotels, movie theaters, places of worship, schools, bars, and stores you frequent. You take a child to public school, better know the exits and entrances to that school, how to enter and egress from that school. Take note of emergency exits and where they'll lead you. Look for doors that lead to loading bays. Note where janitor's closets or kitchens lead to outside service doors. Note where janitor's closets or kitchens lead to outside service doors. They may provide you with a safe escape route. They may also provide you with improvised weapons in the event you are forced to take further measures to protect yourself and your loved one. When an act of terror begins, immediately look for an escape route and keep moving away from the violence. Consciously acquire anything you can lay your hands on to use as a weapon or to obstruct the enemy's activities. Call help, your comrades, your family, or, if you want to risk it, law enforcement, as soon as possible, and give them a running commentary of events as they unfold. But whatever you do, keep moving away from the threat. Finding a route to safety may not be as simple as it sounds. The problem is that you won't be the only one who has thought of this. You won't be the only one. Everyone else will be rushing to the exits. So the exits to the grocery store may not be the best place to go. During a global pandemic where it's at apocalyptic levels. People talk about the snow apocalypse that hit here. It was only a little bit of snow, but it shut the city down. And for a long time, we're not going to have no water, food, medical supplies. You know what? We need medical supplies. My mama's sick. I'm going to hit the hospitals. You're going to go to the hospitals, and you're either going to be fighting thousands of other people, or there won't be nothing there because everybody else got that idea too. There are other places to get medicine. Okay. I'll let you think of that. We'll deal with that in an episode. But those exits, a lot of people thinking, I'm going to run to the exit. And the shooter's thinking this too. A lot of people are going to run to the exit. And if it's more than one, they have one waiting to kill that ass. And you run to the exit. The obvious escape routes will become crowded with frightened, panicked people very quickly. Shooters anticipate and bank on this because it gives them a lot of trapped victims to pick off at will. This has happened before. Okay. You can try to influence at least part of the stampede near you into taking a different, more positive course of action. If you are forced to, or if the opportunity presents itself, you can do this now. Okay. You might be able to turn a frightened group into comrades. You might turn some of the herd of sheep into a pack of wolves. Okay. Hand signals. At certain points in the unfolding attack, you might need to stay quiet so as not to attract a terrorist's attention. Practice hand signals with your loved ones. You can't practice it with everybody in the store. That's impossible. But at least with your loved ones in there, practice it. So you can communicate with them during an emergency. Also on that, you hear shots. Oh shit. One of the first things you should do is turn the ringer off on your phone. You got to hide. The worst thing. At that time, your auntie, your mama, your boy, your girl calls while you hiding out. And now where you're hiding is revealed. Okay. And this has happened before too. Here are hand signals you can use. I encourage you to create your own as well. Indicate the number of shooters by holding fingers up. It may be 1, 2, or 3, for instance. Oh shit, it's C1. Oh shit, it's another one. Okay. To indicate direction in which the active shooter or shooters are, make a thumbs down sign, and then point in the direction with an open palmed hand. Shooters over there. Shooters over there. There, okay? Hopefully you don't do this. Shooters back there, because damn, he right behind me. Unless you know, like, oh shit, I hear him walking. You know, yeah, it'd be hard to do that one. But they'll get it. Oh shit, he right behind me. Okay? If you want an individual to come to your place of cover for their own safety, hand on your head. Come to me, that cover. If you want them to come quickly, pump your hands up and down, your fists up and down. Here, they can move slowly, carefully. Here, haul ass, get to me, okay? Finger to your lips, of course, everybody know that's silence. Not speak quietly, that's silence. Okay. Looking in a particular direction with your hand across your face, fingers open, that means that an ambush or attack is imminent in that direction. It's coming from here. Ambush in that direction, okay? Take cover and prepare to attack. That's not them. Remember, if they're coming from that direction, you got me? They're coming from there. If you're about to attack them, they're coming here, they don't see you. You all got the tools, or you got a firearm. Okay? He's coming from there. I mean, we're about to attack. Stay hidden, take cover, prepare to attack him. These hand signals can be indispensable in the event of an incident, so practice them. Hopefully your loved ones will never need them, but make sure they understand those signals just in case they do. Anybody who's done security with me knows we speak in hand signals. We don't use radios. Other people can intercept that. We speak in hand signals. And anything I need done, from watching over there to going to the bathroom, you going to the bathroom, you eating a bowl of soup, I can talk with my hands. Okay? So, hand signals. If you know sign language, you can incorporate some of those too, but keep it simple that people can remember. Do not believe that once you have reached the emergency exit of a building, you are in the clear. There may be more than one terrorist, and they will certainly have scoped out the area prior to their attack. I keep saying this because this is key. It's critical. This happened in the Bataclan concert hall attack in Paris. An active shooter was waiting in the lane outside the emergency exit from the club. So a shooter went in the club, started shooting people. People ran. Another shooter was waiting. As a stampede, people.
Columbine too, right, Baba?
Huh?
Columbine too, right?
Columbine too, yes, exactly. And these were children who figured out to do this to people, right?
Right.
A stampede of people ran to safety. The shooter claimed many victims as they poured through the exit, tearing their asses up as they came out. The security forces can also be unpredictable, like police, security guards, and all that. A police counterattack in one recent siege by an active shooter ended when the gunman shot himself. The security forces present were confused and killed 2 hostages in the panic that ensued. Do not congregate with others in open spaces. Avoid the evacuation points designated by authorities in case of fire. Avoid those. In case of fire, go here. Don't go to those. These areas could well become killing fields. Alternative exits, emergency doors, windows, or trade entrances. When you have escaped, make sure you turn back anyone heading toward the killing zone who may be unaware of what has happened. If you are not already trapped with them, I would not voluntarily join the crowd. Instead, head away from the panicked crowd and the shooter. Look for a less obvious and less crowded route out of the line of fire. If you can't find one, then look for cover. Taking cover is what you fall back on if you are convinced by your assessment that fleeing the scene is no longer an option. Okay, there are two types of cover. There's basically there's hard cover and there's soft cover. Some people call them cover and concealment. They call soft cover concealment. Soft cover or concealment is an object or feature that hides you from sight but does not have sufficient strength to protect you from bullets, arrows, slingshot ammo, or other projectiles. A long drape in a window, you can hide behind that, could provide concealment, but it's not going to stop an attack. It's really not how ideal, however, out of sight, out of mind, so concealment is better than nothing. Okay, it's really not ideal, but out of sight, out of mind, so concealment better than nothing. You know, hide inside, whatever. That's better than nothing, but if you're going to take cover, you want hard cover, you can. Hard cover usually hides you from sight and is of sufficiently strong material to afford you protection from projectiles. At this point, I want to tell you about and explain about dead ground, okay, to help you better understand the idea of cover. Dead ground is all about angles. I'll give you one example that I went through, okay. During one intense firefight, I spent hours under heavy machine gun fire while in relative safety. Hours in the stadium, eating 50 caliber rounds going off. I could even move along routes hidden from the line of sight of direct fire. Lethal 50 caliber rounds was zipping a few inches above my head while I ate my field rations. Dozens of my comrades were in the same situation and lived to tell the tale. We were able to survive in this extremely hostile environment because we found cover in dead ground. The enemy machine gun crews were simply not able to elevate or decline their barrels to an angle that could kill us, and if they moved from their carefully entrenched positions to do so, we would have killed them. You can use the concept of dead ground to great effect during a terrorist event. Use the architecture and the furniture in your location to your advantage. A brick wall, a staircase, a curbstone, a steel support beam can give you cover with the advantage of dead ground out of the arc of fire. You will be able to frustrate the shooter with angles he can't overcome without wasting time in moving. Why go out of his way to shoot you when he can find multiple easier targets at hand with no cover? Sounds cold, but it's the truth. You got to get home. Hopefully other people take your lead, but if not, they running, panicking, running hither and thither. They're going to get popped. You're going to be concentrating on them, not you. And then you move from that cover because after he killed himself, we didn't even remember, oh, that motherfucker behind that. You start moving towards that. You're gone. Okay. Intelligent use of cover makes you a difficult target. Okay. Never break cover from the same place you took cover, though. If I take cover from this direction, I don't break cover, leave cover, from that same direction. I take cover from this direction, I break cover from that direction, or that direction. I don't go that same way. Okay. That's a predictable move. You don't want to be predictable. Constantly look for fresh cover, walls, stairways, pillars. Brick or steel provides the best hard cover. Wood is not generally good protection. If it's a thin sheet, it will barely slow down a bullet. However, multiple layers of wood, like support beams and heavy-duty wooden architectural features, will deflect bullets. Move from cover to cover. Utilize the dead ground effect. Stay low and move as fast as you are able. I have some more, but I'm going to stop with that as far as cover, because we could really do a whole episode on cover. Just know, move fast. Don't be predictable. Don't come the same way. Don't leave the same way you came. And the harder the cover, the better. If you're going to get behind a car, let me say this on the last thing about that. Sideways is not the best way unless you have no other way. So the car's pointed apart like this. Sideways, you're getting behind the side of it. That's the other side. It's not the best way. Lengthwise is the best way. Because if the car's like this, I get to the back, person shoots, the engine block can block that bullet. Then the rest of the car slows the bullet down in case it misses the engine block. I'm safer. I'm lengthwise. You got to travel that length of that car and get through all the different seats, other metal stuff. Or if you have to get behind the car sideways, you get behind the engine block or a tire. Now, I will say, I was walking down the street. I witnessed a hit. Drug dealer in the car asleep. Another one walks up, kills it. I said, oh my God. I freeze thinking that's going to work. Dude ain't going to pay me no attention. I know the car's right there, but I'm scared to get down because he may see my movement. So I freeze thinking he ain't going to see me like it's a cartoon or something. And he turns and looks right at me. And when he looks at me, I pull my tool. His is already out. And then I get behind the car, behind the wheel. He fires. I come up, boom, I fire at him. He runs to the car like right directly across the street from me. He's behind the car on the side. I'm behind the wheel. I know what I'm doing. But his body, his leg is exposed out. He's on his knees and his leg's exposed in front of the wheel. And I fire. Boom, I hit his leg. He falls down and then other stuff happened, which I won't mention, and I got gone. This is right in broad daylight on the goddamn street in Chi-Town on Central Park Avenue. So anybody who's watching, who's heard about shootout on Central Park Avenue in the daytime, yeah, that was me. Anything else you heard, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about what happened to the dude after that or nothing like that. I don't know. Many years ago. Okay. Many years ago. So that happened. I was defending myself. You said, well, why'd you have a gun? I was defending myself. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Why not have a gun?
Luckily, I was working security, to be honest with you. And so I was armed. So any questions from the chat? Shirley, I want to do more study into communicating during and after enslavement. That's an interesting study. That'd be a nice doctoral study. Get your dissertation on it if that's something you're interested in too. Nobody has really, I don't think, done that one. That'd be good to talk to Dr. Ball about. I believe his doctorate is in media communication, something like that. But of course, many ways we've learned to communicate, okay, through slavery. If you've heard of, I believe they called them the ingenious Dabneys. It was a couple. They would use clothes as a way of sending code. When they hung the clothes on the hanger, on the line back during slavery. Send code to other black dispatchers. Tay said, my favorite aspect of that study is how we use codes in our music. It's totally fascinating and useful. Yes. That Baba lives an interesting life. Yes. I think anybody out west in Central Park, on Central Park Avenue, yes, James Thompson. I think anybody from Chicago has lived an interesting life. I've happened to live a more interesting life because I had very interesting parents who made sure me and my siblings had very interesting lives. My older sister, she just wouldn't do it. She's a pastor of a mega church. Okay, they wanted her. That show, The Pastors of LA, they wanted her to do the show. That would have been real interesting if she had done it. And she's like, I'm not embarrassing my family. I'm not getting on there because we got a big family. Shoot, your brother alone, your baby brother got 8 children. We you'd be great on there, And I'm just thinking something funny. She's like, hell no, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. But that kind of stuff has always followed us. Those kind of opportunities and stuff like that. They were trying to get me and my wife. My wife was just deaf against it on this wife swap. They hit me up about being on wife swap. I don't know who gave them my information. Probably one of my students being funny. Probably Belay. So they gave my information. So they hit me up. I said, hey, it'd be funny if they sent us some white fundamental Christians or something to our house. And they got to live for a week as with some black Ifa folks and our way that we do things. I would have had one of the best times of messing with them folks.
Elbow every day.
Every day. Y'all doing sacrifices every day? Yeah, every day. We have to. So, and the work pigs and I just had them all screwed up, right? So I said, this is gonna be funny. And my wife was like, no, hell no, no, and they were sweating us to be on there because they probably think the same thing. This is gonna be hilarious, right? They were sweating us. So yeah, Shirley, we've always had an interesting how many people get approached to be on a TV show. And no, I didn't mind my wife being, I trust my wife. I didn't mind her being at some fundamental Christian's house or Buddhist house or whoever, because she's gonna be herself. And we respect other people's practices, so it'd have been cool. How do you bring this up amongst family? I've been getting looks during functions. Baba, did your mama really threaten to whoop you in church as she was giving away your candy? Yes. She said, if I didn't give away, she wasn't giving away the candy. She made me give away every piece, and I better not eat not a piece or sneak a piece. She was there watching me. I had better not say yes. She was deadly serious. She's going to tear my ass up and ask others to get me for what I had done. And even if they didn't get me, if she just told the church that I took her money and spent it on candy, I felt stupid already after doing it. I'd have felt so embarrassed. So, yeah, she did that to me. My mother was a genius at punishments when she wanted to get there, when she wanted to go there. She was a genius. When I got suspended from school one time, they wouldn't kick me out of school. My test scores and stuff were too high, but I was clowning, right? I made the school look good out of a school for the gifted, Whitney Young, right? They said, okay, we're not going to kick you out. That's going to go on your record. We're going to put you in school suspension because I had cut class for 36 days, but I did it because of my track coach. I'll get into that later. But anyway, my mother, you got to go. You got to get up. So every morning, normally I get up at 5 anyway. 4 o'clock, she playing Gap Band, my favorite group. Gotta get up early in the morning. She just blast that in my room with my big radio, my boombox on the bed. Oh, getting up. So she would do that. I got drunk the day before I had to go. I was training with Special Forces before I went with the 11th Special Forces group at in Chicago. What's that suburb? Arlington. No, is it Arlington, Illinois? It's something like that. Yeah, Arlington, I believe it's called, Illinois. I was going with them. I got drunk the day before with some friends of mine. She stops. Now, it's a 3-hour drive where we had to get to. She kept stopping, getting donuts and coffee and stuff, and I'm just throwing up. You want some donuts? Some coffee, Adam? I'm throwing up. Then she tells my sergeant that I've been drinking. So we do a 5-mile run. Normally while we run, we're doing different songs. Hey, soldier, combat soldier. This day, he running, I love pizza. I love licorice. He just naming stuff and I just started throwing up. Then he sends another soldier around to keep me running, and I'm vomiting, throwing up, and he just naming gross mixtures of food and all of that because my mother had told him that I got drunk before, and she wanted me to learn a lesson. That's my mom, how I would do. So yes, we had a very interesting family. So I end up with a very interesting life all my life, even to this day. Even to this day. So how do you bring this up amongst family? I've been getting looks during functions. What about how to protect yourself? You just do it, and those who are going to do it, do it. Those who don't, you pray for them if you pray. My first wife, my children by her, she says, my children say to me, Dad, can you give Mom the information that you give to USPI in case stuff falls down so she'll be able to survive at home? I said, of course. I'd even talk to my wife. If stuff falls, we're prepared. Could my ex-wife come? Because I want my children to come, but they're going to want their mama. And she said, yes, absolutely. No hesitation. Okay. I gave my children the information, a packet to give to their mama. I said, what did your mother say when you gave her the packet? You know, she going with stuff to get, what to do, signals, where to go, because we study where to go with each other. Okay. They said she crumbled it up, threw it in the garbage. Couldn't just easily crumble it because it was a thick packet. Crumble up, threw it in the garbage. I said, well, I'll pray for y'all. You know, I trained my own mother. I know I wouldn't always live with my mother. I wouldn't live with my mother when I trained her, but I went over trained her right for years. So they keep a cupboard full of survival supplies, food, water, things they need. So you do that for family. But if they didn't, because my father's transitioned, so if they didn't, I mean, what could I do? My mother and my middle sister, she's older than me. I'm the youngest. They live together. If they didn't have the survival supplies, you know, what could I do? And they'll call me. They call me about this situation in Buffalo. You know, what are my thoughts, this and that. So they're probably watching now, so they know. You know, so I make sure to teach my family, teach them to the best of your ability. That's all you can do, and you pray that they go by it. You know, if stuff falls down, or there's an active shooter, and you know it's in a family member's neighborhood, I wouldn't advise you to drive over there and play superhero unless you really know what you're doing. Unless you really know what you're doing. If my son's watching, you know, definitely him. He has that where, and you know, I get on him about it sometimes, and then one of my students got on me. He said, "Well, Baba, he got that from you." I said, "Yes," but said, that still don't mean that don't mean I don't want him to be careful. When he sees trouble, he's gonna run to it and try to save people. That's my only son, is my baby. For all my children, I really want them to be careful. But so I got Jamie is my baby, and he's next. I hate to say it like that. I know if you listen, he's like, I'm 20 years old. I want him to stay safe, especially since I know he has that kind of energy. I got some children who I know they'll be the ones who will hide, break the hell out of there. They may snatch up a couple of more people with like minds, but they ain't wasting too much time convincing me. He'll be, come on, we got to do so-and-so. We got to get going. Y'all go first. I'll fight him if I have to while y'all get to safety. So, you have people like that. And yes, I'm like that. And that's where he gets it from. But, we always want our youth to be safe. if you know you have a grown child and they're married and it's a shooter in their area, or your grandbaby's in the school, you know there's a shooter there, I wouldn't advise driving over there and trying to take the shooter out, like I said, unless you have a bunch of comrades with you and you all are trained. Okay. We were told we were screwed because our department is on the 15th floor in the school tower, so we can't jump out the windows. Didn't even teach us any offense tactics. That's terrible, because y'all should have definitely got together and been able to help each other. This is better survival preparation work than what my university offers. Ashe, and we'll do more of it. Um, Thank you, Nikki, for joining me and doing the show today. We hope Belay will be back with us next week. Can you hear me, Nikki?
I can, yes.
All right, great. So
I was gonna say, I agree with that person. I actually received some. This was a few years back, but some active shooter training at work as well. And it was a bunch of just kind of try to hide and try to run if you can. But yeah, there was no real information.
They don't know.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
They don't know what to do.
Right.
And if they bring in police and they're teaching you and there's some garbage, they don't know what to do either.
Right. No, we definitely know they don't know what to do.
Right. Exactly. And yes, your tuition dollars hard at work, Big Till. You paying for shit, really. All right, y'all. Thank you all for your time. We'll be back next week. Like I said, we hope that Belay is with us next week. And we're going to get into some technique. We'll probably actually extend into actual techniques on how to take out an active shooter. I think this deserves a part 2. Your thoughts on me, Nick?
Absolutely. And the cover, where you were talking about getting more extensively into how to take cover.
All right, yeah, we'll get into all of it next week then. Thank you for your time. Love y'all. Stay black, or whatever it is you may be.
Peace. Peace, Baba.
Peace, Ominiki. Thank you so much.
Thank you.